This is Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Watch and listen for the very latest news and interviews from within the Big Red Machine.
Welcome one, welcome all. It is your weekly dose of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Town Council sponsored Billingham Stars, back with episode 24. It's February already. The season is running away before our very eyes, and we get to talk about more things for your Billingham Stars. A win at the weekend, another away game coming up, and plenty going on around the league besides. Joined again by Carol and by Jono. Evening both. How's things?
Good evening. Yeah, things are good.
All good here.
So everybody's good. Plenty to talk about from this weekend for your Billingham Stars and around the NIHL. Our menu for this episode, we've got our news and notes as usual. We'll look back at the Stars game against the Leeds Knights from Sunday at the Forum. Our usual roundup of the results and tables from around the NIHL North Division 1. Next week's fixtures. And then we look at the Stars travel to Widnes on Sunday, before we finish off with our usual any other business round. So plenty to get our teeth into this week. Start with our usual news bits and pieces from around. So as we'll see when we talk about the results and tables, the top three in our division all won at the weekend, and the top three are pulling away and on a great run. They all won. Stars are on an 11-game winning streak, Blackburn on a 10-game winning streak, and Solihull on a 10-game winning streak. Spoiler alert, Blackburn and Solihull play on Sunday, so we'll see what happens with that one. But those three are on a great run of form at the top of our division. Away from the league, GB Under-18s named their squad for their World Championships, which takes place in Italy in April. Plenty of NIHL 1 representation, including from Blackburn Hawks, and Eggers Vengus, who we saw on Sunday from the Leeds Knights 2, also played Leeds NIHL. He's in that squad as well, so some exciting prospects in the GB Under-18s. From our showpiece events, tickets for the Coventry weekend, the Final Four, which is the weekend after the Steel City Showdown, they went on sale today, Tuesday, for teams in the NIHL National Division. If fans looking to attend the playoff for the Sunday for the Division 1 Championship game, if they want to go for the weekend, tickets are on sale. You have to jump into one of the team slots, but you can look on the EIH website or the social media. But for our own finals weekend, the Steel City Showdown, it's been on sale for a few weeks, and just over 700 tickets are left in Ice Sheffield for the Steel City Showdown, 12th and 13th of April. 6 games, all championship games. It's going to be a huge weekend for the NIHL 1 and 2 North and South. Early bird prices keep going until February the 14th. A nice Valentine's gift for somebody. And finally, just talking about outside of our normal sphere of influence, but the Elite League, big changes coming in. The Fife Flyers, their owners have announced they're stepping down at the end of the season. So obviously one of the oldest clubs in the UK, and they've been asked for expressions of interest to get involved. So they haven't even got somebody to take over. They've just said they're leaving. If you're interested, get in touch. So interesting times there in Kirkcaldy. And on the West Coast in the Elite League, Greyhead Clan, their longtime boss, Gareth Chalmers, stepped down yesterday. They've just announced a new CEO today. Somebody, Russell Smith, doesn't appear to have any hockey background, so he's the CEO for the business. I was suggesting maybe a hockey kind of GM appointment coming as well to look after the hockey side of the business. But I know Gareth was me at Newcastle a long time ago. It feels like a long time ago. So wish Gareth well for everything he does in the future. So caught up on the news. Anything from those headlines you want to chip in, guys and girls?
Yeah, I think the big one's going to be Fife. We know it's a historic club, one of the oldest, if not the oldest in the country. So to watch the journey that they're going to go on over the next few months is certainly going to be very interesting. We all know the roller coaster of British ice hockey, and then they're not shy to it themselves. And I think they're going to have another summer of will they still be in the Elite League club and where they're going to be come August 2025-26 season.
Yeah. No, the Elite League have said as well they're obviously going to prepare for new owners, or if they need to wait a year and play with 9 next year. So the Elite League are kind of keeping all of their options open as well. So we'll see we'll see what happens there. Anything from you, Carol? Anything catching your eye?
Yeah, GB18s. I think if the season pans out the way we think it's going to, that is going to have an effect on Blackburn back end of the season, because those games for the 18s start as our playoff weekend gets underway. So if Blackburn make it to the Steel City Showdown, then they will be in the position that Stars were in a couple of years ago, where they'll be missing players because they're in GB action, which I'm sure will be a massive miss for them, because the players that we're talking about here are kind of integral to the success that Blackburn are having at the minute. So, it's unfortunate, but at the end of the day, it's the opportunity to represent your country isn't one that you're going to turn down, unfortunately. So that's the one that's caught my eyes, and it's pain that Billingham have been through as well. So we can empathise with that one.
Yeah, but as we keep getting told, we've got no under 18, so it doesn't affect us.
Oh no, no junior program. Sorry.
Yeah, but it is an exciting looking squad as well from the players that have been selected. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how things develop in Asiago in April. On with the Stars action then, and a game on Sunday at the Four Knights Arena. Leeds Knights came in for their second visit of the season, fresh from a big 7-0 win on the Saturday night over Sheffield. Leeds Knights, they've kind of grown up in the division this season, as you would expect for a team in their first senior campaign. But it finished 8-4 to your Billingham Stars. Michael Elder opened the scoring, finishing off from an Ian Brown assist. Leeds then took the lead with goals from Fritz Heinzel and Owen Dell before Callum Wilkinson equalised, and it was 2-2. And Leeds were thinking they'd done well, and then Billingham scored twice in the last 90 seconds. Lucas Dowdle and Chris Sykes. Michael Deneko pulled the one back early in the middle period before Ian Brown bagged his 50th league goal of the season. Ben Greenhalgh scored a Ben Greenhalgh goal. We'll give it its full name if you want later on. I'll have to bleep that one out. Ian Brown again, Oliver Wagg for Leeds before Conor McNulty finished things off. 8-4 final. And Carol, let's start with you. As I said at the top, Leeds are much improved, much more grown up. They kind of grown into the division this year, and it wasn't an easy game for the Stars by any means. No,
I think I said this on last week's podcast. I thought that the way that Leeds would play would depend upon their performance on the Saturday, and I think for once I've been proved right. Leeds had a really big win against Sheffield on Saturday. Tails up, came into the barn looking to put on a show, and I don't think the Stars really knew what to do with them in the first half of the first period. We started really well, don't get me wrong, but after that, a couple of really loose plays gave them the lead, and it did look for a while that we kind of struggling to figure them out, if that makes sense. I don't think we played our best. I'll be brutally honest. I think there was a lot of, especially defensively, I think there was some really sloppy play at the back. Class told in the end, but I think a combination of a much improved Leeds side and not quite at the races Stars side made that result. I think it's probably closer than the 8-4 scoreline would suggest.
Yeah. Jono, as I said, it was 2 each. Leeds probably going to be happy with their first period, and then those 2 late goals in the period, which we've done all for the last 2 years. We've scored goals in bunches, and that kind of gives Stars the breathing room that they needed for the rest of the game, and they saw the job out in the periods 2 and 3.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Carol kind of it was trying to figure out how this Leeds team was going to behave coming into the Forum on Sunday. They had a nothing to lose game. They probably saw it. They got their points on the Saturday, and they can go into Sunday, have some fun. What will be result wise. It was great to see that they brought Luca Tasadri back with him. It's great to see him back on the ice, and he played absolutely phenomenal. It's like he's never been away. I think he did help the scoreline a fair bit. I think we had over about 58, 59 shots.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we've got that 2 quick goals, and it has done to teams that all season long. It just saps that bit of energy out of you. It got us that bit of breathing space, and then from there you knew it was going to be not an easy night's work, but a lot more comfortable than the first period led drew out.
Yeah. Like you said, look, it was great to see Luca in that, like you say, and the guys we kind of highlighted from Leeds as well. Fritz Heinzel, Owen Dell, Michael Deneko, Edgar Vengus, we mentioned him at the top in the GB18 squad. A quietish night from him, but he was still involved. But the guys we highlighted, and they were at the centre of all of their action, Jono.
Yeah, that top line was magnificent. I think I mentioned to a few people. Owen Dell is an absolute player, and he's going to be certainly one to watch in the future. I really believe he'll be one, probably, if not the one who goes a long, long, long way. Whether he stays in these shores, I don't know. But the kid is just talented. He's got good size to him. He moves well. He passes well. He shoots unreal. And he was one of the names I said on my own podcast, speaking with Graham, that he was going to stand out. And I think he has an absolutely unreal game on Sunday and kind of directed things for them on that top line with Deneko and Heinzel.
Yeah. Undell, 17th goal of the season, and with 15 assists. So he's definitely in the points for the Leeds Knights. We mentioned him last week. Carol Ian's 50th goal in all competitions. He got the 50th league marker this weekend. Added number 51 because he doesn't just score goals in singles anymore. But also another landmark, Chris Sykes had his 50th assist. So we mentioned Sykes is a kind of turning into a provider. I mean, Sykes added a goal. He's on 25 goals and 50 assists. So the focus is on Ian, but the supporting cast around him, as we've said before, is contributing and adding up the points as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're taking it into, maybe they play rock, paper, scissors before the game, I don't know, but they tend to do a carousel of goals and assists between Sykesy, Mikey and Ian, and it's quite funny when you look at the stats and you look 1 week it's all assists for Mikey and goals for Ian, and then the following week it's goals for Sykesy, assists for Ian, a couple of goals thrown in there. So I don't know, it's quite a phenomenon. I think it's they just seem to, there's no real pattern to it. There's nothing that you can watch to kind of guess what's going to happen on any given week. But certainly it helps when you've got a player like Ian who's utterly on fire and very rarely misses if you give him a decent opportunity to shoot. So the chances for assists for Sykesy and Mikey at the minute must be bountiful. So it's great to watch, obviously, but it is quite strange how they keep switching between the three of them as to who gets all the points.
Yeah, there's a nice bit of symmetry. So Sykes is on 25 goals, 50 assists. Ian's on 51 goals and 25 assists. And Mikey's on 23 plus 43. So plenty around the top line. It was funny, the opening goal last week we were on about Ian and how he kind of got edges, when he cuts away. Leeds decided to go for a line change while Ian Brown had picked up the goal, picked up the puck in centre ice and just got the legs going, and the Leeds defence kind of went, there you go, straight through. And obviously Luke, I made the save, but Mikey potted the rebound. They obviously didn't watch the podcast, the Leeds Knights, so we'll have to get them on the viewing figures. We had Ben Green Halge on Stars TV post game. A man of few words, but he knows how to hit a slap shot.
Oh my word, doesn't he ever? We actually spoke with Luca after the game, didn't we, Craig? And I think he actually said he thought about getting his head in the way of that shot, and I'm thinking, I'm so glad you didn't, because you would have been picking it up from the back of the net with the puck. It's we've hashtagged what that goal is, but we can't say it on a family-friendly podcast.
No, I'll try and get the clip from the GoPro behind the net because you can see it. It comes in top corner, and the water bottle, you can just see the water bottles like that, and the water's coming out. So we'll try and get that put on our socials. But yeah, it's funny Ben saying he tried a wrist shot and it didn't work. So Mossy just says, well, just hit it, and boy did he hit it. And that's important. With joking about the Ben's goals. I mean, he doesn't score a tap in by any means, Ben. But the day we've said it a few times, the defence, John, has been a big part of the success this season. But the fact that they can chip in at the offensive end as well is going to be huge down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can see just from, we'll see on the league table later on, the goals conceded throughout the league, and Stars are probably one of the only ones who haven't conceded nowhere near as many as the rest. And that's because it's a nice tight-knit unit. They all know what they're meant to do, and they've also got license to go up and score and on the rush as well, and allow players filling in those positions for them. So they are picking up the amount of goals. Tommy, James Helens, I think they're both on 9 and 10 goals each. And obviously Ben's up there with his absolute rockets. So I think he's on 7 or 8 goals. These are big goals coming from defence. And I don't think many teams are producing those sort of numbers from their defensive players.
Yeah. No, it's going to be huge, and we said to Fozzie as well in the post game, which we'll link below to for people to have a look on Fozzie's post game thoughts. The running is going to be huge, getting contributions from across the board, which we did again this weekend. Obviously, Callum did, Lucas Dowdle did, Ben from the back, Conor McNulty getting a goal late on there. So all the lines are still contributing, which is going to be huge as we go down the stretch as the games mean more and more down the run in. Anything else from Sunday's game particularly catching your eye you want to bring up? I think we're just about covered everything. I say look for the night, 58 shots, 50 saves, kind of a welcome back. He has a barrage of action for you to do. But look, that was huge. Mark, 4 goals, probably the most he's let in for a while. Player of the month, which we'll mention later. But again, in that early stretch, Leeds were 2-1 up. I remember a huge toe save he made when he got the guy almost looked like he was going to dipsy doodle it around him. He managed to get the pad out, kick it away, kept it at 2-1. So still making some timely saves. So the net mining is going to be solid, and again a nice problem for Fozzie to have, Carol.
Yeah, and I think we've been saying this since Mark's had this extended stretch of most of the games since before Christmas. It's a lovely problem to have. Probably the one that most coaches would want to have is having 2 goalies that you know for a fact you can put either of them in and they're going to turn in a performance for you. So yeah, as I said last week, I don't want to be in Fozzie's shoes choosing that particular position, but it's the nicest of problems to have.
Yeah, no, 100%. So yeah, 8 goals to 4, 3 points in the bag. Anything from you, Jono, before we move on?
Yeah, just more of a congratulating to the team. I think it's the first time I've ever seen us go through a game without a penalty being called on us.
True story.
So well done to them.
Yeah, no penalty minutes. 4 minors on the night, 2 for 4 on the power play.
I mean, I dare go and say that was the best referee performance of the season, but that might be going a bit too far.
I have seen that said in certain quarters. Whether the tongue was in cheek when they said it or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I think he called what needed to be called. I don't think we were completely. You could have called things on us, but they say the way the guy was letting the game flow, I think he just called what needed to be called. So, which is what you want from your officials. We'll see as the games mean more. We'll see if that continues. But yeah, job done. I say we'll put the links in the show notes for Billingham Stars TV. We're post game with Stephen Foster and with Ben Greenhalgh as well. You can hear their thoughts on the action, and we'll leave it there from the Stars and Leeds Knights. We will take a little break, and when we come back, we'll talk about the results from the NIHL North Division 1 over the weekend, and we'll look at the league table, and we'll look ahead to next weekend. Some great games in prospect, so I hope you can join us for that one. This is your official podcast of the Billingham Town Council, Billingham Stars. This is Starcast. Welcome back to this week's Starcast. As I said before the break, we're going to look around the NIHL North Division 1 from the weekend. results and league tables to see how things are standing. We'll start with the results from across the weekend. The first weekend of February, fullish programme on the Saturday. Blackburn 8, Deeside 5. Solihull 8, Nottingham 6. Widnes 2, Hull 4. And then the game we mentioned earlier, which is big for the playoff race at the bottom of the division, Leeds Knights 2 had 7. And the Sheffield Scimitars no score. On the Sunday, it was the Sheffield-Nottingham game, and it went very much the way of the Lions, 6-1 to the Nottingham Lions. Billingham 8-4 over the Leeds Knights, as we've talked about. And then Sunday in North Wales, Deeside 3, Solihull 11. 6 points over the weekend for the Solihull Barons, and their 10th win on the belt, as we said. Jono, do you want to start this one? Who's catching your eye this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's going to be both Sheffield results. I think that pretty much condemned them now to no playoff hockey this year. They needed to win, for me, but needed to win both of those games. They haven't done. And yeah, I think catching, even just reaching Leeds, even if Leeds don't come in 8th, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near. I think their season's nearly done as well. I think they've only got 4 or 5 games left, maybe. But a lot of games, Sheffield now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think their season's probably done, and they're probably playing for a bit of pride now.
Yeah, we'll have a look at the tables in a second. Result-wise for you, Carol?
I can only look at the last result on that little grid and say, much as I was right about Leeds last week, I think the words I used for Deeside were Deeside better than that. Oh dear, they keep proving me wrong, don't they?
Yeah.
I don't know where that result's come from either. They're just the weirdest team to. I mean, you look at Saturday's result and think, okay, that's an improved performance at Blackburn, given the result they had there last time.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've got beat by 3 goals. It's an improvement, and then they get absolutely spanked at home, and I don't know. I'm going to stop saying Deeside are better than that, because I'm starting to think they're not. They're crashing down the table. I think I said when Big Jake signed that one player does not make a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have been right about that one.
Yeah.
I don't know where they go from here. They have to improve significantly if they want to even get to the semi-finals of the playoffs, let alone make it to Sheffield's. There's just no way at the minute that I can see Deeside doing anything till the end of the season. They continue to perplex me. And they're not. I just don't. I think I was wrong last week. I don't think they're better than that. I think that there's something fundamentally wrong there, and they don't seem to know how to fix it.
Yeah, after a while, the results don't lie, do they? So 11-3 at home. I'm just looking at the box score, courtesy of Joe Scott's NIHL Stats, nihlstats.wordpress.com. Point your browser there. The shots on goal for the Sunday game, the 11-3 game, the shots on goal were 35 each.
I think that might tell you a story, don't you?
11 goals on 35 shots.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say about Deeside anymore. I really don't. But this Solihull team is as leaky defensively as they are. They conceded 6 the night before on home ice to Nottingham. And I don't want to be disrespecting Nottingham, but Deeside's firepower is 5 times that of Nottingham's. And to only put 3 in against a defence that's, like I said, nowhere near as good as Deeside's. I don't think they're any great shakes. I know they've got Corey Goodman back. That's one guy. It's ridiculous. For me, I think they need a full change out in the summer and have a look at things. And maybe the superstar players aren't the way they got it. They thought it was good. There's too many of them. Just too many of them. And maybe they're playing too like individuals.
Yeah. No, we'll see what the rest of the season then, what takes place over the summer at Deeside. At Solihull, we said Zach Yokoyama was going to take the place of the missing Mulcahy brother, so he may as well change his name to Mulcahy, because on Sunday Mulcahy D had 2+3, Yokoyama had 3+2, and Otterson had 1+4, so 5 points each for that top line. Nicholas Otterson's 5 assists from the night before, so Otterson's had himself a weekend on 73 minutes of ice time, but such as it is. But they ride their horses and they get full value from them, so they're on a tear. And as we talk to the fixtures in a minute, we'll see what happens in Blackburn later this weekend. As things stand in the league table, then from those results, we have now 5 teams confirmed in postseason action. Hull and Deeside joining the queue. Deeside, despite losing 2 games, the other results mean they've qualified for postseason. So it's still a 9-point gap for your Billingham Stars, but Blackburn still have that game in hand. Then the Barons down in 3rd, the Hull Jets and Deeside Dragons 4th and 5th, and then Warriors in 6th, Nottingham 7th, just 2 points behind Whitley, but Whitley 3 games in hand. They need to take advantage of those to make sure they solidify their place in the table. Leeds, huge win for them, as I say, on Saturday, taking advantage in 8th place, the final playoff berth. And then Widnes on 14 and Sheffield on 12. So 30 games for Sheffield, the most in the division. Was a 36-game season, so only 6 games left for Sheffield. So in reality, it's Widnes and Leeds battling out for the 8th spot in the postseason dance. It's hotting up. I say that the top 3 teams on a bit of a tear. But as we look at the fixtures coming up this weekend, we'll see there's a few tasty ones to look at. So we'll start on Saturday. Blackburn host the Widnes Wild. Leeds host the Whitley Warriors. And then on Sunday, Deeside versus Nottingham, Hull versus Leeds, Solihull versus Blackburn, Whitley versus Sheffield, and then your Billingham Stars travel to Widnes for a 5:30 face-off in the northwest. So the fixtures ahead. Anything catching your eye before we talk about the Stars game on Sunday?
Only one fixture stands out this weekend, and I can guarantee you every Stars fan will be watching that game more than the Widnes game, even the ones at Widnes. That's a big game, that. And Hawks have got 2 games against the Barons left, and they could be huge in the running. Barons could catch the Hawks, could catch us in all seriousness, but it's going to be a huge weekend. And the Hawks have got a bit of a period coming up towards the cup final, and they can't afford to take their eyes off it and concentrate on us coming to the cup final. They've got some big league games coming up. Even going to places like Whitley Bay can get you stung. And the start of those tricky games start this weekend with Solihull, and whoever comes out on top of that, I think it'll be the ones who are going to be chasing us down, I believe.
Yeah, I mean Solihull could be the kingmakers, couldn't it? Because they play Blackburn twice. We've got to go down to Solihull in March.
Yep.
So they could hold a bit of influence in the title race. So while physical eyes might be in the northwest on Sunday night, social media eyes definitely will be in the West Midlands. But a full slate again from the NIHL, and say the fixtures, particularly at both ends of the division. You have to say the Leeds Knights, another 2 games for them. They've holding the sway with the 8th place, but we'll see what Widnes do on Saturday, and obviously we hope Widnes end up empty-handed on the Sunday. So we come back to this weekend, then your Billingham Stars to the Widnes Wild. We haven't seen them for a while. They've added a couple of faces, brought back some familiar faces, and they seem to have been kind of gelling in and settling. Carolyn, without sounding like a broken record, we need to go down and be ready to go on Sunday night.
Yeah, they've put in some much improved results recently. Been a bit unlucky, really, to be on the losing side of a couple of those. So there've been like a few teams in our division this year. They've kind of started terribly and just tried to get themselves back on an even keel as the season's gone on, and now they seem to have turned a little bit of a corner in that the performances are improving, if not always the results. I'm sure those results will come. I think if you look at the playoff picture, I think that 8th place might be a little bit beyond them. Just having seen Leeds at the weekend, I think Leeds should have enough to kind of hold Widnes off. But Widnes have still got something to play for. So we really can't afford to be taking our eye off the ball at this stage, because what's the best cliche I could come up with? Every game's a cup final. So we have to go into this one as we do any other. Yes, Widnes have got some players back into the roster. Yes, they've been improving. It would appear, if you listen to some of the media that's coming out of Widnes, that they're happier than they were at the beginning of the season. Who knows? It's an odd rink to go to if people are thinking of travelling. It's the sight lines are quite low. Had some issues recently with not actually being able to see the ice for the condensation. So it's just one of those games that you have to approach as professionally as you can, get the job done, 3 points hopefully, and move on to the next.
Yeah, as Carol says, John, hopefully Billingham will have enough, but the likes of like Flynn Massey and Danny Hyde have kind of returned home, you could say, to the Widnes Wild, where they've had enjoyed success before. So they're contributing to a bit of a revival, and we need to be wary. But hopefully, if we stick to our job, we should have enough for them on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. As a team, as ourselves, we just concentrate on what we're doing. But as for a Widnes point of view, it's an absolute free hit of a weekend for them. If we're going to feel sorry for them, really, they've got the big derby on the Saturday night in Blackburn, and then Huz on the Sunday night on home ice. It's a bit of like a disaster fixtures-wise, but again, a free hit. They've got nothing to lose whatsoever. You can tell they've been enjoying the hockey lately. The results are showing that. They've got young Billy Thompson, who's flying at the moment, scoring goals and showing that what he can do. And he'll certainly want to do that against the bigger teams such as ourselves, maybe for roles in bigger clubs next year. You just don't know. So he's going to put himself on the shop window. A lot of those kids are. But whatever it is Widnes have done lately, I don't know whether to strip things back to basics. They're certainly enjoying the hockey a lot more. They've got a few more bodies in there, which absolutely helps massively. And they've got a big weekend ahead of them where they can just go out and have some fun. And you just never know what comes out of it when you get a hell of a weekend like they've been given from the fixtures gods.
Yeah, and Billy Thompson, as you mentioned, he scored the first goal for the big club on last weekend as well for the Sharks in the NIHL. So he's obviously got his tails up. So have to be wary. But if people are thinking of going down, as Carol says, it's a small, it's kind of a low ceiling. It's odd sight lines until you get used to it. But certainly, I would recommend a trip over to the northwest, over by the Mersey. Nice little, it's like a little business park, leisure park type thing, and so there's plenty around. If you have a wander down, but yeah, definitely worth having a run down if you fancy a hockey fix on Sunday. It's Widnes Wild and your Billingham Stars. Anything else on the weekend before we move on to any other business? No, I think we've covered it pretty much in good detail. So we'll say a reminder, if you're travelling down Widnes Wild and your Billingham Stars on Sunday, we'll round up as we do with any other business. I know, Jono, we've got Supporters Club news to come out. Congratulations to Mark Turnbull. If people weren't at the game on Sunday and haven't seen on social, he picked up the Star of the Month voted by the Supporters Club members for the month of January. A fantastic performance, as we said on this pod on numerous occasions, league and cup action, stepping into the breach for the Billingham Stars. So great stuff from Mark. Before Jono has his list from the boss to go through, Carol, I know you wanted to say something. It's been on social, but not particularly that, but just a general topic to bring up for people to have a think about.
Yeah, and by all means, I do not want this to turn into a slag off session of any particular team, but an incident at the weekend that's been widely reported by the player involved. others on social media, as it's just prompted me to have a little think and just to voice my opinion on fan behaviour in rinks. So for those that aren't aware, I'm not going to dwell sort of spend any time discussing the particular incident. All I will say is it brings home to me once again that it only takes one or two bad apples in a team's fan base to smear a whole team, as is proving the case at the minute. So we're going to have an awful lot of our fans travelling in the next couple of months. We've got cup final, we've got playoffs, we've got games that people want to go and see as the sort of league, the regular season comes to a conclusion. And I just thought it was worth pointing out that visiting away rinks, they're not there to roll the red carpet out for away fans, that's for sure, because it's not their job. However, that said, incidents of any form of abuse, be that verbal, physical, and I will point out, by the way, spitting is a criminal offence and is classed as assault. But all incidents like that should be reported. If you are in an away rink and you see any sort of behaviour of that ilk, and by home fans and away fans, if you want to grass up your own, that's fine by me, because we don't want those sort of people associated with hockey. So it's more of just a reminder to people that when we're in other teams' rinks, that behaviour does reflect on us as an entire fan base. Likewise, when we're in the forum, away fans, again, we don't need to be rolling out the red carpet for away fans, but at the same time, we don't need to be treating them like rubbish either. So it's just more of a reminder to people that those one or two bad apples really can make a big dent in a team's reputation. And I don't want that to happen to any team, let alone the Stars, because it's not good for hockey. Hockey's got a great reputation as a sport for being inclusive, being welcoming, and for fans being able to mix. And certainly for everybody who goes to playoffs, you'll see this in abundance.
Yeah.
But it's just a reminder, really, that it doesn't take much for that reputation to go south. And just, if you see any that sort of behaviour, call it out, report it. Do not let it go. Don't wait until after the game and then jump on social media, because that doesn't really help, I don't think. Just do it. Just report it. And let the rink, wherever it may be, let them sort it out.
Yeah. And you mentioned social media, and it's a lot easier these days for those things to get out into the public and get circulated, like you say, and then people not associated with our division pick it up, and it's gone. You get wider coverage of things, and like you say, it does tar a whole club, a whole fan base with one or two bad apples. So, well worth listening to Carol there, and just kind of, I think it's a lesson for life. Don't be a dick in any walk of life, but certainly if you're in a public place, just general standards of behaviour, and if you do see something against that, as Carol says, just call it out. So thank you for that. Jono, you have a list?
I have a list. I do have a big list. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone who voted for Player of the Month. I think it was a great choice. Mark's had a great month. Second of all, thank you for everyone who came to the table on Sunday. I was rushed off my feet like never before. We had new stock. We're now out of stock of some new stock already. But yeah, one of the big things is the buses. We have 2 buses on. They are nearly full. If you want to go to Blackburn and see the lads in the cup final first leg, please get in touch. There's single-digit seats left on both buses, I believe. So please get in touch, get your names down, and we can sort out payment with you at whatever date suits you best. But yeah, just a big thank you for everyone who's come to the Sports Club table at the weekend. You are really making a difference, and like I say, every penny that comes in we will give to the club to help the club run in any way we possibly can. So that being said, we were obviously not going to be there for this weekend. There'll be an away game, but we do have new stuff. We're trying to get more stuff in of the stuff we sold out. The mini puck key rings went like a storm. We've got the t-shirts in, they sold well. So only a few sizes left of certain ones, so please get in touch as well so we can plan ahead. But yeah, lots of new merch, lots of ideas coming, and just a big thank you for supporting us so far this season.
Yeah. No, it's brilliant. I saw the table a couple of times when I was passing through on game night, and it's always busy, and you and Fiona and Trudy are always busy, which is good to see. Yeah, and those cross-check t-shirts, the property of Stars Hockey, look smart as. So if people want to look the business, I missed out on the key.
£14 for members, £16 for non-members. Don't forget that.
What a salesman! I'll have to get my name down for a key ring for when they come back in. So I missed out on those. But yeah, and the supporters club, as Jono says, the end of last year they give an award of money to Alan. They're looking to do that again this year. So all of the fan support, and we do mention it time and again that the numbers are growing as the season goes on. We're still seeing new people. We had somebody commenting on one of the interviews, funnily enough, on YouTube, who he came to his first game with his family, and they loved it, and they're coming back. So we had the sponsors in from Salamander Pumps. A couple of them hadn't been to hockey before, and I saw they were talking with Kay at the end of the game. They had a great time. So we're still getting new people after all this time. I know we've said it before. We're still getting new people who still don't know what the Stars are, still don't know what hockey is. So we're still trying to spread that message. So I think as Jono said before, just share the word. The social media, the Carol and the team do. Share the posts. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Just spread the word about the Billingham Stars, and the NIHL is a hellish good league to watch. And the more people we can get involved in that, the better for the future of the club and from the league.
Yeah, on the back of that, the NHL North 1 is in the top 100 leagues in the world.
It is.
That's impressive, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
If you think of all the leagues in America, Canada, Sweden, Czech Republic, Finland, to be in the top 100, that's a good standard of hockey.
Yeah. Nice. So was that Puck Express or something?
Puck Empire.
Yeah.
Number 92 we are.
92.
The Elite League was I think the Elite League was 14th, so hopefully they can keep doing what they're doing, hopefully get into that top 10 soon enough.
Yeah. No, it's good for the sport in the UK as a whole. So we'll keep spreading the good word of the NIHL and the Billingham Stars. From the media team, Carol, anything happening we should know about?
No, I was actually going to mention the guy who commented on the interview, because it's not often that we get newbies commenting on social straight away. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Again, it's all down to you guys out there sharing and commenting and liking and doing everything that you do to help spread the word, because you just need to keep those algorithms going.
Yeah, buying the merch, being a walking billboard, it all helps.
All of that.
Yeah.
Take selfies, post them up there. Just get those algorithms turning from my point of view, because the more sharing and liking and commenting that everybody does, the more it appears in other people's feeds, whether they want it or not.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So like and share this podcast as well, people.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, he's taking me next line, but yeah. That's pretty much it. We'll draw veil on this episode 24. As I say, we're in Widnes on Sunday, and then we have a Nottingham doubleheader the following week. We're at home on Saturday, but more about that in next week's edition. We'll be back to talk about the game in Widnes and all the goings on around the NIHL. As John and Carol have said, if you wherever you're watching or listening, if you give us a like, a review, a share, publicize it in your feed, spread the word about Starcast, about the Billingham Stars, and about the NIHL. Thank you to everybody for their support, their watching, their listening. Thank you to Carol and Jono for their counsel this week, as always. Some great stuff, as usual. And we'll be back next week. But for now, from Starcast, it's bye for now, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you for being part of this episode of Starcast, the official podcast of your Billingham Stars. Remember to like and share this episode, send a review when you can, and follow us on social media for the very latest news and to find out when the next Starcast will drop.